Hi everyone, welcome back to Go Local Live. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel. I'd like to welcome my next guest in, a familiar face with some current topics to talk about. Robin Garceau with Robin Garceau Interiors. Thank you for coming in today.
You're welcome.
Well, we usually talk about the latest in design, but we're going to talk a little politics, which we usually do here in Go Local, because in the governor's proposed budget for 2020, there's some proposed additions to services that could be taxed. And one of them, a line item, was interior design.
Yes.
So we talked about this yesterday. You're quoted today in Go Local's piece. The governor over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal was called a nickel and dime Democrat by their editorial board. So let's talk a little bit about what this would mean for you, your business, and the industry.
Well, as you can imagine, as soon as I heard that, I was pretty upset about this. I mean, she singled out on one line interior design services. And it hit me in a way that I was so concerned, because I said, why is she singling out certain services? Why wouldn't it be services across the board? And, I'm thinking to myself, maybe she was watching HGTV one night and it was an epiphany on her part and said, oh, I can tax that service. And then it started to hit me. I'm wondering if she did it because we don't have a big voice. We don't have a big lobby. We are small businesses. We're interior designers. We are, which surprised me though, because we are primarily a female-driven industry. So she's going after an industry that's a female-driven industry. So it was pretty upsetting when I heard it.
And how much would this, do you think, have an impact on you and your bottom line? One of the facets of today's piece is we talked with someone in the extermination business, because when it is passed to the business oftentimes you can't absorb that. It will get passed on to the consumer.
Yes and no. I have to say, most of the time we already absorb fees for credit card use. Most people pay with credit cards. So I'm already absorbing those fees. You already take that hit, because I feel as though I'm not going to charge extra for a credit card, obviously. So when you're charging an interior design fee, now if I have to add 7% sales tax on it, I feel as though I'm getting hit twice, because now I don't want to have to charge that fee to my client. It will also have a direct effect on me in competing with designers from Massachusetts and Connecticut. And how do I charge that? I have a job in Rentham right now that I work on. Do I charge her 7% sales tax and maybe not somebody in Rhode Island? I'm not sure this was well thought out when they decided to throw that line item in there.
And so you've had discussions with folks in the industry this week up at the Assembly. They are considering a number of items within Article 5 in the budget. Do you anticipate a fight?
Yes, absolutely. And if she feels as though we're not well represented, I feel like, you know what, maybe she's not thinking too hard about how we are going to fight this. We are strong women, and we are a strong industry, and we have strong people behind us. So don't underestimate us at all. There is one designer, Kelly Taylor. She's going to be speaking tonight at the Senate Finance Committee. On Thursday, there's another designer that's going to be speaking on the House side. So we are looking into this. We're looking at all our options, and we are going to fight it vehemently.
Well, we'll continue to keep tabs on the fight, report on the fight, as we've already done here at Go Local. You can read that piece today. But as we usually do when we bring you in to talk about the latest in design trends, speaking of design trends, you just came back from the show in Paris. What were the takeaways?
The takeaways in Paris, it's funny because there are a lot of takeaways about Paris. Obviously, it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. There's a lot to be seen. Designers from all over the world embark on Paris in January to see the trends and everything. So I did take away the technology that's being infused into the techniques that are used to make product. So fabrics are having more depth, and trims are, there's more depth in trims, and there's the embroideries and laser cut and things like that. So those are coming down the line. They're usually coming out in April for Europe, but we won't see them in the United States until the fall. So,
so let's talk a little bit about that. You say the technology involved. I mean, are people going to literally be able to see things, as you said, trim or designs that they even like haven't seen before? Were there things that sort of like made you maybe do a double take to be like, wow, I can't believe they were able to do this, and it's by lieu of the new technology that they were able to do so?
Oh, absolutely, because you see fabrics and you see the trims that have this depth that you've never seen before. You've seen interwoven designs that are so multifaceted and multicolor that it creates this whole new look for you. And it is becoming like artwork. You see three-dimensional wall coverings that you could do a wall with, and it literally looks like artwork. So it's really amazing.
Have you seen anything like this before?
Some, but not to this degree. Not to this extent where it is creating so much depth and design, yeah.
Do you think people will embrace this sort of new look as folks have known what the traditional wall coverings have looked like for so long? Do you think it'll really be sort of a stylistic, a personal basis of, I like the traditional, or wow, I really want to embrace what this whole new look looks like?
You know, with technology in all facets of life, everything is becoming three-dimensional. Everything is becoming moving parts. And yes, I absolutely see it being embraced because people want to have some type of depth like that in their home. It's not just a flat two-dimensional thing anymore. It really is three-dimensional.
And do you really have to sort of maybe even see it in person? We've always talked about, you know, when you're working with a designer, what you see in a catalog versus the ability to sort of see, feel, and touch and know what that's going to look like in a home.
These fabrics and trims and designs, you really want to see and feel, and it's easy to do that because of sampling. Because you have to grasp what you're actually seeing. It truly is three-dimensional, and I do take photographs, and I try to take up-close photographs, but there's really nothing like that. So it's nice to see. Another thing that I saw a lot of was not a new genre, a genre that keeps popping up, which is Art Nouveau. And it's coming everywhere. So that's one of my favorite genres. So I'm very happy to see that.
So what are some of the facets of Art Nouveau that, you know, of the viewers watching right now? I mean, what's in that trend that we'll be seeing?
Well, Art Nouveau it comes from the Art Deco phase of 1920s. You know, it's so funny because before I left for Paris, I bought a dress with some fringe on the bottom, and I said, oh my God, that's going to be the next trend. And you do start seeing all the fringes on furniture and things like that. But also designs in fabrics that have that Art Nouveau patterns that almost look like buildings and geometrics and florals and things that were done in the 20s that are just absolutely gorgeous. I just did a fireplace that had an Art Nouveau feel to it, which I'm excited because now you see the trend coming forward. So I'm really definitely designing forward.
Excellent. I'd love to hear about the takeaways. I've seen all the photos from when you were in Paris. We've got you here for a little while. You were just on the road again, but you'll be heading down to North Carolina shortly for High Point.
High Point will be next. That's the beginning of April. That's one of the world's largest home furnishings show. High Point doesn't really look like Paris, and it doesn't have the feel of Paris, but it is good, and it is there's so many artists and so many industry people that come to that show that it's fabulous. It's just a whole town of furnishings. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I'll come back with a lot in there too.
Come back with what's from High Point. Well, I'm glad you were able to come share with us a little bit about the trends from Paris. Again, as you said, you'll see them in Europe in the spring, see them here in the U.S. in the fall. And you heard it here first on Go Local Live. So Robin Garceau, thank you so much for coming in
You're
to
welcome.
talk politics and design. That just about wraps up another day here in downtown with Go Local Live. Of course, turn in tomorrow afternoon for Laura Afonso with Food and Drink on Live. But of course, go to golocalprov.com and find us on Facebook. In the meantime, we'll see you back here tomorrow in downtown Providence. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel.